All right, I am rolling. Give me a classic check 1, 2.
Check out my melody. Wow. Wow.
Okay.
You think you're special.
You got that out of your system?
It's true. I can see it in your eyes. All right, I'm done.
It's staying in the episode. That's going out to all of our listeners.
I mean, fine, I guess.
This is a podcast recording. This is not the podcast episode yet, unless we go really long, in which case it will be a bonus episode. But we're not doing intros and all of that. I guess let's throw some designations out there. This is Crew Expendable. I am big Evil Dead fan Hallstrom.
And I am big Evil Dead, specifically the 2013 remake fan Hallstrom.
You're not Hallstrom.
I don't know why I said, I don't know why I said your last name. I was just, in my brain, I was like, I'm just going to copy the thing Neil said. And so I accidentally also said your last name. Maybe, my last name is actually Rohrbacher.
Maybe I'll be Rohrbacher for this one and you can be Hallstrom.
No. That would have worked better if you hadn't already said your name. It doesn't matter.
It's fine. Look, it's late, and we're doing what they call a pickup recording, right?
I just want to be clear for everyone.
Yeah.
That sounded like a bit. It was entirely by accident. I did not do that on purpose. Continue.
Yeah. I think it's, a little embarrassed maybe. Now when we recorded our episode, our last bug hunt episode, we recorded that like the day before the Romulus trailer came out.
Yep.
And then like the next day we were like, man, next time we record, we got to talk about the Romulus teaser, right? And then we did record.
We forgot.
And we didn't talk about it at all. So we're talking about it.
Yeah, we completely fucking forgot to.
Yeah, we're talking about it here now after the trailer has gotten millions of views on YouTube and been out for
almost 2 weeks.
Hey, better late than never, right?
That's right.
Again, look, I'm not going into it. People know scheduling's been a little tricky.
Mm-hmm.
I keep apologizing. Nobody's mad at us. I'm just feeling self-conscious about it. So
yeah, that's one thing we need to remember. No one is actually like getting mad at us for not having put this info out. I'm not saying no one was expecting us to do this.
Right.
But I will say that other than you mentioning it in the description of the previous episode, like outside of that, we never said like on an episode we were actually going to do this. So it's fine.
Yeah. And again, we are not an alien current events podcast. We're not an alien news podcast, right? We're a couple of fans digging deeper into a series that we love podcast.
Yeah, we're just chilling,
To borrow a phrase from a popular James Bond podcast, we're lovers, not experts, right?
That's right. Correct.
So, people don't come to us for the breaking alien news, and if you're interested in the breaking alien news, I recommend AVP Galaxy for that.
Yeah, if you are coming here for that, I would recommend against continuing to do that.
yeah, because that's not us. But come on, man, 2024. New alien movie from the director of the Evil Dead remake, a movie. Mm-hmm. Well, not even, okay. Yeah. Remaking quotes, because could just be another entry. Of course we got to talk about this. That's a movie that we both love dearly. It's the only thing Evil Dead that you care about at all, which is weird, but hey.
I wouldn't necessarily say at all. I've seen all of the movies except Army of Darkness.
Okay.
And I think the first one is good. I like the remake even better than I liked the first one. And I thought Rise was fun, but I didn't like it. I definitely didn't like it as much as the remake. I don't know if I liked it more or less than the original, but like those three, I do like. I just want to make it clear that it's not like I don't give a shit about the franchise as a whole.
Sure.
I just, the ones that I like are the ones that I like, and the other stuff is the stuff that I don't care about.
I'll say another Evil Dead thing that you like is that you like to be wrong about Evil Dead 2, one of the greatest movies ever made. But that's
okay, look,
neither here nor there. No, we're not going to get into that.
I'm not getting into it. I'm simply defending myself. The reason I don't like it is because the movie is funny and I don't like horror comedies.
All right.
But speaking of which,
Sure.
did you, Neil, see the Evil Dead news that got announced yesterday?
I did not. Wow.
They announced that they're working on a new movie.
Ooh.
And they announced that they are in talks for the two leads to be the character from Rise that survived, whose name I forgot.
Yeah.
And
not
the
Beth,
lead,
right? Yeah, Beth.
and the lead character from the remake, Mia, that was still alive at the end of the movie.
Hell
the two
yeah.
of them are like I said, they said they're in talks with those actresses. So I assume that means that, assuming they say yes, the two leads of the movie will be from Rise and the remake. So
that is the best news I have heard since I heard they were making a new Alien movie called Alien Romulus that was originally going to Hulu, but is now going to theaters because it's just that damn good.
August 16th, baby.
Hell yeah. That's 4 days before my birthday. I will be there. Shit, I will go to a midnight screening alone if I have to. That's my promise to the podcast listeners out there. All right, man. Are you ready to talk about the brand new The Crow trailer? Let's get into it.
I just saw the new Crow trailer the other day because Friday after I got off work, I went to go see the new Godzilla X Kong.
Sure.
And they played the Crow trailer before the movie. So I absolutely could actually talk about that if you wanted to.
I saw it when it first dropped, and my opinion is, man, people sure like to get mad about things on the internet.
I think it looks fine. I'm probably going to see it. I've never been the world's biggest Crow fan, but I think the movie looks fine.
Same. I'm going to see it too. I've seen all the other Crow movies, including Wicked Prayer. Why would I not see this one? Right.
There's no way this movie is going to be worse than Wicked Prayer, you know?
Wicked Prayer is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Like, nothing fun about it at all. Just bad. When Dennis Hopper is bad in your movie, it's a bad movie. You know what I mean?
I can never remember. Is that the Eric Mabius one?
No, that's Salvation. Wicked Prayer is the Edward Furlong one.
Edward Furlong one. Okay. I always get the third and fourth ones mixed up.
With David Boreanaz as well and Tara Reid. Salvation is Eric Mabius and Kirsten Dunst.
That's right. Kirsten Dunst. Yes, and she gets her mouth sewn shut or something.
She does. Yeah, that movie's fucking metal.
That part I do remember.
Salvation, underrated, not great, but not bad. But we're not really here to talk about the Crow movies, although I will go on and on if...
Yeah, we absolutely could talk about them if we wanted to.
Sure. And if you want to hear about movie off-forgotten entries in franchises, sequels, reboots, and remakes, listen to They Made Another One on podcasts.
Phenomenal.
App.
Podcast.app. Love it.
All right. Seriously, though, let's talk a little bit about Alien Romulus. The teaser trailer that dropped a couple weeks ago at this point. Kenny, I have not read any spoilers for this movie. I know things have been leaked. I have not done anything beyond reading the very short one-sentence overview on IMDb. Looked at the cast list and seen the poster and this 1 minute trailer. Have you checked into any of the alleged spoilers and leaks that have been going around on the internet?
I definitely have not.
Same here, and I will not.
Yeah, I have zero interest in finding out anything about this movie before I go to see it. I don't know if this is ever something that's come up on the show before, but I am like extremely like anti-trailer for stuff. Like if something's coming out that I want to see, I'm just going to go see it when it comes out. I don't need to know information about it before I go see it because like I'm someone who thinks that like hyping stuff is bad.
Yeah.
I remember one time, back a few years ago, I've mentioned this before, back a few years ago, I still gave a shit about the MCU.
Sure.
And when I finally realized that, I was like, oh no, there is a finite amount of time that I will still care about the MCU, was when they like released this timeline of like, here's our plans for the franchise. And then they announced all of their movie releases out to like 5 years later. And I was like, I don't fucking need to know what movies are coming out 4 years from now. Tell me that in 4 years. I don't want to have to sit here and think about this for the next 4 years. You know?
I'm very, very similar. The thing that kind of shifted me, because I used to be that guy who would dive in and try to find trailers, try to find leaks, try to read summaries, all of that kind of stuff, just really hype myself up. There were a few disappointing movies I did that over where I was like real psyched for it, and then I saw it and it was like, oh, damn, my expectations were way too high. But then there were like a couple of times where I went to a movie with zero expectations, having knowing absolutely nothing going into them. 2 examples. The first John Wick, right? Knew nothing about it except for like a TV commercial. And the movie fucking blew me away. Right. Great
movie. Love it. Absolutely love it.
The other one is Dredd. I knew nothing about the plot. Oh, the newer Judge Dredd movie, obviously the Carl Urban one.
Yeah,
Alex Garland wrote it, I think.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. He wrote Sunshine, by the way.
But yeah, Dredd also fucking rules. I don't know. Again, I don't know if I've ever said it, Neil, to you or listeners here on the show, but I genuinely believe like I would put Dredd in like the top 10 of like movies I've ever seen.
Yes.
Like I absolutely love it. It blew me away the first time I saw it, and I am still wowed every single time I watch it.
It's a great movie. And and I went into that with knowing nothing about it, right? I mean, I was familiar with Judge Dredd. Okay. But in terms of like the actual movie itself and the plot and the fact that it was basically Judge Dredd but Die Hard, right? Yeah, the movie absolutely floored me. One of my favorite movie watching experiences, and I turned a corner after that where I was like, okay, the less I know and the less hyped I get, like the more surprised or pleasantly surprised I can be, and especially when it comes to something I care about, like Alien, right? Or Predator, when Prey was coming out. I saw the teaser and that was kind of it. You know what I mean? All of that to say, I don't think we're going to be covering like every time a new Romulus trailer drops. We're probably not going to be doing things like this for it because, more and more is going to get revealed. And that's when I'm going to start avoiding things like that because I want to go into the movie as surprised as possible.
For sure.
So this is, in terms of Romulus conversation, this is probably all you're going to get on the show until the movie itself drops in August, in a few months.
I mean, yeah, I don't really have any interest in like watching the trailers and talking about them or stuff. There's a couple of shows that I listen to that are like, we did a frame by frame analysis of the new trailer for Dune Part 2. And I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah, no way. But we are going to go frame by frame through this Alien Romulus trailer. So clear your schedule, listeners. Just kidding. We're not doing that.
Like, even if you hadn't said that, I was going to go, no, we're not.
You just hang up the Discord call.
That would be a good bit.
Not much to say in terms of like what is contained in this teaser, like in terms of like a structure of this teaser trailer. It's a teaser. It's a collection of scenes. We don't get a lot of dialogue, hardly any at all, right? But man, we get a lot of Alien in this, don't we?
We get a lot of Alien as in the franchise, not Alien as in the creature. So I just want to make that clear.
Yes, I do. Like, this is a fucking Alien movie. This is reminding me a bit of how excited I was when the Prometheus trailer originally dropped, or the teaser originally dropped, and they were just really capitalizing on the aesthetic and like showing the EVA suits and all of that stuff. It's stuff that looks like Alien. I think they showed the one of the engineer ships like it was the derelict and all of that nonsense.
Sure.
But this is doing it in honestly just a better way, right? This is, we're like in the familiar territory of like a more analog ship akin to, not even a ship. This is a space station, right? Or I believe some of this trailer is in a ship and some of it is in a space station as well.
From what I've been able to gather, i.e. the one sentence description below the video, It's about a group of people who are basically traveling through space. And they're like scavengers, and they come across a derelict space station. And then when they get on the space station, presumably the reason it's derelict is because there are xenomorphs on it. That's my guess.
That makes sense. That sounds like something that would happen in the Alien franchise.
They're on a ship, and then they fly up to a space station. Then I assume once they get there, I'm assuming the rest of the movie takes place on the space station.
Sure. The hallways of the ship look extremely familiar. We've got like these sort of hexagonal hallways, right? The metal grating on the bottom, all kinds of equipment and tubes and wires and stuff on the walls, and like pipes and everything. And then you get some shots that definitely evoke being on like Sevastopol Station in Alien Isolation, which is a very nice. I think that there's going to be a lot of that. Do you remember that teaser image that got tweeted out on Alien Day last year that showed like those communication save boxes from Isolation?
Yeah, it took me a minute, but yes, now that you mention it, yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, so like come back around like that, like. That was like a teaser of like, this is going to involve like a station.
I was just about to say, what if this is the Sevastopol? Then I remember that got destroyed at the end of the game.
Sure, yeah. But this is going to be something similar. Maybe it's the same model. Who knows? I do wonder. And friend of the show, Bobby Ellis, did speculate on TikTok that he thinks that this is going to have a lot of Isolation influence. I think largely because of the station setting. I'd be fine with that, honestly.
No, that's fine. That's okay.
I mean, the Sevastopol wasn't a derelict, but it was essentially abandoned, right? Because
it was getting there, yeah.
Because of a very similar thing. So, like, if that's where the inspiration for this movie is coming from, like, I'm all for it. I don't know that, like, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on fan theories. I don't think this is going to directly tie into like Amanda Ripley or anything, and I hope that it doesn't personally. I want an all original story.
It theoretically could, because this movie does take place between the first two films.
Right. Yes.
So it operates in the same space and in the same part of the timeline that Isolation does.
Yes.
So it's not outside of the realm of possibility, but like I don't remember if it was Fede Alvarez or I don't remember who it was that said it, but somebody did go out of their way to say that this movie isn't connected to anything else in the franchise, which I took to mean it's like a standalone story and it doesn't have, it's not like a follow-up or a connector to anything else. It's just its own thing.
Yes, and that's what I want also. I mean, we don't care too much about continuity in general on this podcast. It's fun to talk about and theorize about, but I mean, maybe this will tie into the greater Alien universe in a different way. This is a standalone story, but now it's like more ammunition for those credits pages in the Marvel comics, right? Where suddenly they can be like, in the year something, the Romulus, blah, 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 right? And like,
for sure,
it's going to add something to the canon that maybe other things in the future could pull from that isn't going to feel like we're just going back to the same well over and over and over again with the Ripley family or LV-426 or what have you.
Yeah.
I want to talk about this title briefly. I just typed in Astronomy Romulus. Okay. And it is a moon of the main belt asteroid 87 Sylvia. I don't know what that means.
Neither do I.
But Romulus is a real moon that exists in presumably the Milky Way. Its neighbor is Remus.
I would imagine, yeah.
Do you think that that's a location in this, or do you think Romulus is maybe the ship or the station, or maybe this is Romulus Station because it orbits that moon?
I don't know why I thought this, and I don't even know if there was like something that I read that made me think this, or if I just, needed to come up with something, and so I just invented an explanation and then just, continued with that. Yeah. But in my brain, I've been operating under the assumption that the Romulus is the name of the space station they're going to.
I think that makes sense. We'll see. Probably not a Joseph Conrad reference.
I was literally in the middle of typing in Joseph Conrad Romulus when you mentioned that.
Do it. See if anything comes up.
All right. Well, Joseph Conrad has a Xenopedia page. That's fun.
We should bookmark that for later.
All right. So apparently, there is. Oh, okay. Well,
Careful.
I'm not.
Don't fall into spoilers.
Yeah, I was just about to. Well, I was just about to start reading what it was that I saw, and then I realized that that's what it was. So I'm not going to be doing that.
Phew, dodged a bullet.
Yeah. So it doesn't seem like there directly is one. Like Romulus doesn't seem to directly have anything to do with Joseph Conrad. But then again, I'm just looking at this with one eye while talking with the other, so to speak,
What do you think the odds are that somebody on board the ship in the movie is reading a copy of Nostromo?
It'd be funny if they were.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's ever actually done that, as far as I know.
Does that feel like a Fede Alvarez thing to do?
I'm going to go with no. It feels like it's a little too obvious of a reference.
It could be a fun nod back to Evil Dead, when in Evil Dead 2, Ash cuts his hand off and traps it in a bucket and then weighs the bucket down with books, and one of them is A Farewell to Arms.
Of course it is.
That's a real.
So
that's a real thing that happened in Evil Dead 2.
Maybe I was wrong about it being too obvious of a reference then.
All right. Let's talk a little bit more about this teaser. The reason we're doing this in the first place, right?
All right. It looks like Alien 2.
It does, right? This is bringing the alien vibes for sure. There are definitely some scenes that evoke aliens, right? Like there's that scene where I believe it's Isabella Merced is standing with the gun, and it looks, if it's not the M41A, it's a similar weapon with the ammo counter on the side, and she's in front of like the flashing lights, and that looks so much like Ripley at the end of Aliens going into the hive. Like they're very clearly trying to evoke, they're trying to splash a little bit of aliens in this, I think, which makes sense, right? Like there's definitely
for sure
weapons aboard and that kind of stuff. So I don't know, man. Yeah, this definitely feels like Alien 2. That's accurate. I got to talk about these face huggers, dude. I'm so excited for whatever this flood of face huggers scene is. This looks scary as shit. It was giving me flashbacks to both Alien Trilogy and playing the Alien Resurrection game, when suddenly there's just a shit ton of face huggers everywhere.
Yeah, there's a whole horde of them. There's something like 8 of them that we see bursting out of a door at the same time going after someone. Yeah,
and they're just flooding into this room and leaping at them, and it definitely takes down one of the principal cast. I'm not going to speculate on who.
Yeah.
Super duper intense scene. And I love the way that they move, and we've come so far. You've seen Alien versus Predator at this point, right?
I sure have.
The face hugger scene in that, where the eggs open and it like jumps in the air, and then the camera like freezes and Matrix spins around as it like leaps on whoever, right?
Whoever, yeah.
And I just think about that scene in my head in 2024 and how fucking cheesy that was versus something like this where we're just like, obviously it's CG. I know that they did a lot of practical effects and practical set building and everything for this movie, but like those face huggers are definitely not puppets, right? But man, they move super realistically, and they're super terrifying, and they're just going for these people, man. When I saw that scene in the trailer for the first time, I was like flipping out because that was awesome.
There is, speaking of face huggers, there's a scene a little bit later in the trailer that was the one that really made me go, that was the one that made me go, ooh, baby, I gotta fucking see this movie.
Yeah, this is, I know what you're going to say. It's at 40 seconds in the teaser trailer.
Yep, there it is. A character is lying on their back, and a face hugger successfully gets removed from their face.
Yes. How, we don't know. I don't know if it's dead. It might be dead,
It might be, but like like what we see in the trailer is them lying there, and then like the big tube from the face hugger gets like slid out of the person's mouth. But at the very beginning of that scene, for just a couple of frames, you can see like the legs of the face hugger that like very quickly get removed off screen.
Yeah.
And so when you're first watching it, you might not necessarily see that. And so you see the tube sliding out of their mouth and you're like, huh, wonder what that is. It's probably a face hugger, but who knows? But then you see the couple of frames of the legs attached to it and you go, oh, that is a face hugger. They fucking removed a face hugger from someone. Yeah. How did they accomplish that?
Yeah, man. Who knows? Maybe they got one of those med pods like in Prometheus and Out of the Shadows.
Yeah, maybe they figured out a way to get the tail off without choking them. Who knows?
Maybe this one didn't have a tail, although I think you see it in that scene. I'm not, who knows?
Well, maybe this specific one doesn't have a tail. Who knows?
There you go. Maybe like a larger, like a cat xenomorph hybrid, like tried to catch it. And its tail broke off. Mm-hmm. This is like the lizards in my mom's yard when the cat gets out.
That's right.
I don't know.
That's right.
I don't know. Guys,
it's fine.
I live in Florida. There's lizards everywhere. They're just all over the place. Okay. I'm also really curious about this zero gravity scene. Mm-hmm. Like we've had some low gravity scene. Like I don't even think I call them low gravity scenes because there was just full gravity in Prometheus, right? Have we had any zero gravity scenes in any alien movies? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Unless you count when Ripley blew it out of the goddamn airlock or whatever, right?
Oh, I was going to jokingly say, unless you want to count the kitchen scene from Resurrection, which since it's flooded, it's technically very close to being zero G.
Sure, maybe this is a direct reference to that.
Oh, I'm sure that's exactly what they were going for.
We got to pull something for every single movie. What do we pull from Resurrection? I don't know. Something. It's you know. They just give off. They just give up.
That was a fantastic Fede Alvarez impression you just did right there.
Man, I just love the look of this movie. I'm just letting it play on mute here. I mean, everything from the ship approaching the space station, all these shots of the different hallways, the cryo sleep pods, right? Like the bloody cryo sleep pods. Everything feels like it's made of like metal and plastic in this, the way it should. Mm-hmm. I don't know, dude. I'm like, I hated. We probably talked about how we did. We talked about how like slick everything looked in Prometheus, right?
Sure does.
And how it didn't make any sense and it didn't line up with what we see in the future franchises. And it was engineer Carissa. Happy birthday, Carissa, who mentioned like it made sense for like the Nostromo to have more analog equipment, stuff that's going to be like easier to maintain and stuff for like these long haul missions and everything. This feels like a nice balance between the two because all of the stuff looks like Alien, but it doesn't look outdated either. You know what I mean? It looks like a sort of modern version of old tech, if that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. The movie looks just right to me, and the way the facehuggers move and everything, I'm super psyched for it. We do get one shot of a Xenomorph right at the end of the teaser, right around the 52 second mark.
I was literally like, it was funny you say that because I was like waiting for you to wrap up your thought so I could go. The only other thing I really had to say is that there is a very brief shot of the big guy at the end of the trailer, but then you beat me to it.
Do you think, I mean, that's a lot of face huggers. Do you think we're getting one or do you think we're going to get a few? Like maybe they are going to reference Resurrection with having like a handful of xenomorphs, but not a whole hive. You know what I mean?
I am of the belief there are going to be multiple xenomorphs in this movie because like, I'm going to be honest. I find it hard to believe that an entire space station could be derelict due to just one xenomorph.
Sure, but what if that's not the reason the space station is derelict? Is a derelict.
That's true. You've got me there.
This is all again. We have not read any spoilers. Don't take this as any kind of spoiler. I'm probably wrong. But what if this isn't the first, what if it was like there was a previous salvage attempt and something got on board or,
whatever, yeah.
What if this got on board the salvager ship first? Well, that doesn't explain multiple face huggers though, right? Like, unless it was like sealed up cargo or something.
I sure do.
And in any case, maybe that's not why the station is abandoned. Maybe it's just a coincidence, right? Coincidences happen all the time in the Alien movies.
That's very true.
Anything else I really wanted to hit on for this? What do you think? I'm going to speculate that David Johnson's character, Andy, the way he's standing in that hallway, I'm betting synthetic.
I was thinking the same thing. He seemed surprisingly unperturbed by everything that was going on, so I had the same feeling.
I'm thinking synthetic for him, but we'll see. I think this movie is going to have a bunch of surprises in it. I think they might be similarly to Prometheus pranking us into making us think this is familiar territory, right? But really, it's going to go in crazy directions, and I don't mean the same directions that Prometheus went. I just mean, I think there's things in this movie that are going to subvert expectations. But I also think that if it's just Alien again with a different kind of crew, a younger crew, I'm also totally cool with that as well.
See, the thing of it is that we've had this conversation before. I don't know if we've ever done it on record before, but we've talked before about how the big thing that we like so much about the James Bond franchise is that every movie is basically just the same thing over and over again. Yeah. Like we could just watch the same movie each time forever and be fine with it because we just wanted more of what it was already giving us. Sure. That's what this movie feels like it's doing, and I mean that as a compliment. I liked Alien, and so I would like more Alien, and this movie seems to be giving me more Alien.
It's giving Alien, right?
Yes, it is. That's
right?
correct.
Right, right, yes, Gen Z. It's giving Alien. Okay.
It's serving Alien. Yes, that is correct.
It's serving Xeno. Okay.
There we go. Right. That's way better than what I said.
Yeah. I mean, listen, and that's not to, again, that still leaves room for new things, right? But and changes. I mean, if you want to use the James Bond example, right? Like not every James Bond movie is exactly the same as the previous one, but there's a formula, there's a formula to Alien. There's a formula to The Crow. There's a formula to Friday the 13th,
which is the other big example that we use when we discuss this. We're like, every Friday the 13th movie is the same. Every Bond movie is the same. And that's a good thing to us.
Yeah. There's outliers, right? There's things that mix it up and but they still fit in they still feel like a part of the series. You know what I mean?
They are recognizably that thing. Yes.
Right. And I love a long running, decades spanning film series. As we just mentioned, several. The Crow, not really spanning decades, but you know what I mean. I mean, kind of at this point, I guess.
I mean, by this point, it spans 3 decades, dog. And actually, I think it spans 4 decades because I believe the original comic book came out in 88 or something. Didn't it?
87, 88, one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. So technically, it's been spanning 4 decades now.
Sure. Yeah, and this feels like another Alien movie, and this feels like another Alien movie in the ways that I really want one, versus the previous 2 released, Prometheus and Covenant. Although we also all know that I'm a pretty big surprise defender of Covenant, based only on my experience with it on this show, and not just because I love Alien Covenant Origins, the novel. I can't.
Yeah, that's not the. Yeah. I cannot fucking believe that you still work in an Origins reference on this. Come on, dog. You're obsessed. You have a problem.
Well, I think we're going to discover that somebody on this crew is related to Duncan Fields, but
I thought you said that was going to be what the show was about, not the movie.
I think, the show takes place before Alien. I think the Earthsavers are definitely popping up in the show.
For the record, listeners, I do not think that.
Also, I know I'm wrong. Just let me believe. And I don't know, as much as I enjoyed Covenant for the handful of really great set pieces and the charisma of Walter and David guy.
Michael Fassbender.
There we are. Michael. I couldn't get David out of my head. I was like, David Fassbender? That's not right.
Yeah, that's because you always are thinking about David, dude.
Anyway, this feels much more in line with what I want. Just based on this teaser, but also based on what I know of Fede Alvarez's work You know, I feel like this is going to deliver. I think this is going to fucking deliver. August can't come soon enough.
The one big thing I'm not really looking forward to, because I have no reason to believe it's going to be like this, but the one thing that I have my fingers crossed and that I'm hoping for is, I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily would be appropriate, but I really want this movie to be insanely gory.
Oh, I think it's gonna. And that's one thing a lot of people are saying, like, hey, Fede's doing this. It's going to be the grossest and the best kills and the...
Yeah, because like listeners, so you guys know, the primary reason why I love the Evil Dead remake so much is because it might be the goriest movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
And it's so outrageous and so audacious, and I just couldn't believe it when I was watching that it was one of the most amazing cinematic experiences I've ever had. And like, his Don't Breathe movies are gross in different ways, but they're not like gory.
Right.
And so I don't want to say that I'm expecting this one to be gory, but like, it's an alien movie made in 2024 by the guy that made Evil Dead.
Yes.
He probably has like, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? He probably has like the, not ability, but I'm assuming people are expecting this, and he's the type of guy that would be willing to deliver on that expectation, you know?
In the IMDb trivia, under spoilers, the only thing under spoilers, I knew that there wasn't going to be any real spoilers here. Let's be clear. Mm-hmm. I don't think this is a real spoiler, but it says Isabella Merced has teased that there is a scene that she's in that is so disgusting the rest of the cast had to look away when they watched chunks of the movie on Fede Alvarez's iPad during reshoots in early 2024.
See,
so
that's what I want out of this movie. I want people watching it to actively be like, oh, God.
There's been some speculation in the YouTube comments of like, I can't believe they gave away that scene where someone's pulling the face hugger off. Like, I can't, like, that's got to be the big moment. And they stuck it in the teaser trailer. Guys, that's not the big moment. It's not.
Yeah. It's not the big moment, because if it was, they wouldn't have put it in the teaser trailer.
If you've seen Evil Dead, if you saw the Evil Dead trailers, if you saw the Don't Breathe trailers, any of the shocks and stuff, and any of the other trailers for the movies that Fede has done, you know that the best stuff isn't in the trailer.
Yeah. Neil, have you seen Evil Dead Rise yet?
I have several times.
You have?
I did a podcast on it with our friend Queen Cream from our...
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. You did. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
See, the thing of it is that like the trailers and teasers and release stuff for the movie made it look gross and insane, but like none of the stuff that they released about the movie even hinted towards the fact that the Marauder exists.
Right. Yeah.
Suddenly he's just there, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, like, that wasn't a Fede movie, but that is more specifically, they don't give away the best stuff in horror trailers. Right.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Yes, that's why I use that as an example.
Yes. You know, our classic, when we refer to people being bisected as getting Evil Deaded, right?
Yeah, that is correct.
That wasn't in the trailer. You know what I mean?
It sure wasn't.
There are going to be plenty of surprises and shocks in this thing that are not in this minute long teaser, or will be in any of the full length trailers or anything else leading up to it. Right? I mean, it's just, they're not going to give it away. This is Alien. They know what they're doing. They haven't given away those kinds of moments in any of the trailers, right? I think, what would it be in Prometheus? It would have been what, the med pod scene, perhaps?
Yeah, probably. Maybe like the crashing of the Juggernaut.
Yeah, well, I think the crashing of the Juggernaut might have made it into one of the late trailers, but like in terms of like the gross, scary stuff, right?
Okay, yeah, it would have to be the med pod scene, because I would say that is the grossest scene in the movie.
And that wasn't spoiled in the teaser or the trailers, from what I remember. I think there was a shot or two of Elizabeth in the med pod, but without context, certainly like not showing.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing. Taken out of context, you won't know what it means, and you won't even know it's from the climax of the movie until after you've already seen the movie. Right. It only counts as a spoiler after you've already seen it. You're not going to know otherwise, you know?
Covenant trailers and teasers did not give away the Bloodbursters scenes, which were the highlight of that movie as well. Those were the big shocking scenes in that, you know? They're not going to give it away. And I can't fucking wait, man. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This will be the first Alien movie that came out since I became a fan of the Alien franchise.
Yeah, man.
So this is like the first big one for me, you know?
Sure. The first one you will have seen in theaters, right?
Yep, that is correct.
Yeah. I have seen, I believe I talked about this on the podcast. I had the pleasure of seeing the Alien director's cut in theaters on Halloween when that had a limited release before like the quadrilogy set and everything came out. That was a great movie going experience. Still, it was the first time seeing the director's cut. I think, well, obviously, right.
Yeah.
I'd seen that movie a dozen times. It still terrified the shit out of me to see it on the big screen and everything. Like I'm still, you know, I'm going to be a little scaredy cat when I see this in theaters for sure.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I want to go on record right now. Alien is a good movie, so I'm not surprised that you were like, yikes, when you watched it.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
No problem.
But like I'd seen, man, what have I seen? So I've seen Alien in theaters, and I've seen the Alien versus Predators, and I've seen Prometheus and Covenant in theaters. So that's a pretty good record.
I mean, that's like all of them since you became like old enough to make those choices for yourself.
Yeah, my parents were not going to take me to see Resurrection in theaters. I do think they took my older brother though. Yeah. I probably could have gone, but I think I was probably too scared, you know. I was too scared. A little scaredy cat.
How goes. How goes.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. That's correct. I mean, looking back at it now, would you have been proud of going to see Resurrection in theaters?
I think I would have. I think at that age, I probably would have loved it. Like, because again, I've watched that movie so many times.
It's true. That's true.
In hindsight, I probably would have felt fine about it. You know.
All right.
I fucking saw Alien versus Predator in theaters. That movie.
That's true.
That movie kind of sucked.
So, Neil, do you have anything else you want to say about the teaser trailer for Alien Romulus?
I don't think so about the content of the teaser itself. No.
All right. The only other thing I had to say about the Romulus trailer is a couple of weeks ago when it came out, because I'm like the alien guy in a few of the online like communities I'm in. I, of course, was the one that went around like posted the trailer to like most of the Discord servers I'm in and stuff. And like the reaction, like the overwhelming reaction that most people gave to it was like, this looks mid, and I do not understand how or why. Like most people posted like a reaction gif of somebody just like shrugging or somebody just responding to it, and like I don't get it, man. This movie looks great. So I don't know why people thought they were like, I don't know about this. What's not to know about it? It looks like Alien, dog.
Yeah, we've got some friends who aren't super jazzed about it. I'm not going to name names specifically because I don't remember who it was exactly in the Discord who was kind of like, you know.
Same.
And they were like, yeah, some of my other friends are big Alien. Like maybe I'm just not a big Alien person, but some of my other friends who are, they're also kind of like, whatever. To which I say, again, we're dealing with a 1 minute teaser here, right? Mm-hmm. Now, this teaser delivered for me the aesthetic I'm looking for. I got to see the alien, right? A little bit. Mm-hmm. I know the 121 is there. The XX121 is there, or something close to it. The facehuggers
are there, and they look great.
There, and there are a lot of them.
Yep.
And then there's a bunch of like stuff that I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why are these sleep pods all bloody? Why is there zero gravity? What's blowing up? Why is there fire coming down this hallway? You know, like there's plenty of questions that I want answers to now, right? Just I want to see the context for all of this stuff. So I don't know, man. Like maybe we're just not harsh enough critics.
I mean, the thing of it is, you know, like I said earlier, I wanted more Alien, and watching this trailer leads me to believe this movie will give me more Alien, which is what I've wanted this whole time.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, it's more Alien. Like
Yeah, that's the thing. It's more Alien. And I don't even mean Alien as in like how I describe this movie as being Alien 2. I don't even mean that when I say like, yeah, I'm not even trying to say it's more of specifically the first movie. It's just another Alien movie, which is always just cool to have.
Yeah. And there's been plenty of stuff like Alien stuff that we haven't been super into, that like the early Marvel comics. You know, you and I have differing opinions on some of the classic Dark Horse stuff. We were pretty hard on Prometheus.
We were, yeah.
Maybe we were maybe not hard, and we were pretty hard on Resurrection, weren't we?
I mean, yeah, I think I was the strongest of the three of us, and even I was like, it's not that great, but
yeah. My outlook is sort of like the worst day fishing is still better than the best day working. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, I'm just happy that we're getting another Alien movie right now, and I'm happy that it looks like Alien. And one thing we didn't talk about is the score, the sound, the music for the trailer also feels very Alien to me, right? Like, it's not, there was something about, and this is wrong, but there was something about like the Prometheus and Covenant scores that made me think of like John Williams. I know it wasn't John Williams, but it made me think of like Close Encounters of the Third Kind or fucking E.T. or something, right? But this is just like creepy ass alien music, you know?
Ever since I think it was 2013 when Evil Dead came out, like I watched that movie and I was like, from here on out, I will always just trust Fede Alvarez to do the correct choices when he makes a movie from now on.
I think we're in pretty good hands. Again, the IMDb trivia mentions in the trivia section that Fede showed Ridley Scott and James Cameron the film, and both of them thought it was great. They had different comments and notes and things than each other, like just showing their different perspective, but both,
which to me is a good sign, because if they gave notes, that means they weren't just like, oh yeah, it's fine, whatever, I'm just cashing the check. It means they actually like gave a shit about what they were looking at and had like real meaningful things to say.
Yeah. And you know, that's two filmmakers. Again, it's late, guys. Two filmmakers with like very different styles and very different approaches to filmmaking that have both like left like are the two people who essentially, like, through their films that they directed, set the standards for this franchise. And to have them both be like, yeah, man, no, you did it right. Like, I know I'm not putting a ton of weight because I've seen Prometheus and Covenant. I'm not putting a ton of weight on, just to be clear, but like, it is nice to know, like, well, okay, seems like he got the vibes right, at least, you know what I mean?
And see, the other thing of it is yeah, sure, Ridley Scott may have made Prometheus and Covenant, but he also made Alien, so
sure, and Matchstick Men, I think.
I don't know if he did or not. I'm pretty sure he did. Sorry to step on your joke like that, but I don't remember whether he did or not.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Okay, cool. Works for me.
Not looking it up.
Neither am I.
All right. So one last thing I want to do, Kenny. You pointed out that there's a transcript of this trailer, and while like it doesn't feel heavy on the dialogue, there was quite a bit of dialogue in this trailer, and you came to me and you're like, Neil, I have to do a dramatic reading of this. I have to do it. Please let me do a dramatic reading of this on the podcast. I want to read all of the dialogue from the Alien Romulus teaser trailer. I have to.
All right. I'm going to give a little bit more. I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of. So I'm just going to say I'm going to expand out that story a little bit more with a couple of details that Neil left out.
Sure. You hit those details, but before you do the reading, I just got a brilliant idea. Maybe our friend Coolerbot should read all of the dialogue.
None of them. I don't think he's available right now. I think he's off doing something else.
All right. Well, let's ask. He's over here, actually. Let's ask him. Hey, Coolerbot, do you want to read the transcript of the Alien Romulus teaser trailer?
H2, no.
All right. Okay. I guess we'll let Kenny do it.
Also, the additional information I was going to expand Neil's story out with is everything he said was a fucking lie. I did not demand to do it. I just pointed out because I thought it was funny that the trailer had a transcript because there's effectively no dialogue in it. And then Neil goes, "Oh, you should do a dramatic live reading of that on the episode." And I went, "All right, fine."
Okay, fine. I mean, hey, look, I try to get Coolerbot to do it, but he's not interested. So.
Well, the reason he's not interested is because he doesn't want to do that voice for several seconds in a row like that.
Okay, fair. All right.
All right. The following is a transcript of the Alien Romulus trailer. Help! Someone help me, please. No, I don't know what it is. Get it away from me. Come on. Come on. Open the door. Run.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to see if I can sync those up with the actual audio from the trailer.
Well, if you can, good luck, I suppose.
All right. I'm sorry. Coolerbot's got some stage fright. He couldn't, he didn't want to participate.
Hey, man, Coolerbot only talks during the intros, okay? That's the rule we set, remember?
For now. Hey, Coolerbot, do you think the Alien Romulus teaser trailer looks good?
Yes, 2-0.
Yeah, man.
Honestly, I agree.
Hell yeah. All right, crew. What was supposed to be a short pickup recording to stick at the beginning of our Aliens What If podcast has now turned into an almost hour-long recording.
I would say it turned into an entire episode, just like a regular episode.
So we are going to throw this out on the feed on its own as I'll mark it as a bonus. And the Aliens What If episode will be coming soon after this, right? Like... Mm-hmm. You know, a couple days.
Like if you're listening to this when it comes out, it'll very likely be out later this week.
Yes. But this was my editing time for that, and now we did this instead. So
it's fine.
Yeah. All right. So stay tuned to the podcast feed. We will be talking Aliens What If #1 next very soon. After that, we will be doing Alien Black, White, and Blood issue #2. And after that, I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
I do know that we're going to start on Sea of Sorrows pretty soon here, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So dust off your copies of Sea of Sorrows. We're definitely doing that in like at least 2 episodes, guys.
At least.
And maybe we'll get Bob 8 to join us for those episodes as well.
We're gonna try. That's for sure.
But let's get out of here.
Cool.
I'm going to chop and screw this thing a little bit tonight. See if I can get this out quicker.
Works for me.
Kenny, at SciHobs on Internet Places. I'm at Final Neil on Internet Places. Kenny, where can people find the show?
Where you can find us on the online is our Twitter is Crew Expendapod. Our Blue Sky is Crew Expendable. Our Instagram and our Threads is both Crew Expendable Pod. I remembered to add it to the pinned post.
Hell yeah.
Our website is crewexpendable.net. Our YouTube is youtube.com/@crewexpendable. And if you want to send us an email, the email address is mother@crewexpendable.net.
Yeah, we would love to hear from you. Slide into our DMs, comment on the YouTube video, email us at that email address, mother@crewexpendable.net. Let us know what you think of the Romulus trailer. If there's anything cool that we missed, we might talk about that on as part of a future recording.
I mean, I know the trailer came out like almost 2 weeks ago, so your opinions on it are like old news to you by this point, but we're only doing the episode now and we haven't heard your opinions on it yet. So dust off those opinions that are up on that dusty old shelf and send them our way.
And as a reminder, we are both avoiding spoilers. So don't speculation is one thing. Definitive spoilers is a different thing. If you want to share your thoughts about the movie, just
for sure.
Yeah. Just help us out. Help us go into this movie surprised.
Yeah, we want to engage with the fans, but just like don't be a dick about it. All right.
Yeah, please don't be a dick about it. And if you, again, I will say, if you are looking for like up-to-date information on Romulus leading up to its release, we both recommend avpgalaxy.net.
That's right.
All right, Kenny, let's close up shop here so I can try to get this out on the feed, 2 weeks after the teaser has dropped.
And again, to reiterate to all the listeners out there, do not expect us to talk about Romulus again until the actual movie comes out.
Sure.
So, like, if a new trailer comes out or whatever, and you want to talk to us about it, cool, that's fine. But don't expect any stuff like on the show about it. You know?
We want to experience it in the purest form possible. So we will be waiting for its release to really dig into it, but we'll be talking about it right away once it comes out. So
that's the plan. Yeah.
Just like we did with Prey, which is, between Prey, like after Prey, I have like faith in how 20th Century Studios seems to be handling these franchises that are always so connected, so.
Yeah, man. Prey is a good movie.
All right, crew, we will be back soon talking about Aliens What If #1. Until then,
stay frosty.